Hello everyone. Today we have Miss Pooja Venkatram, HR Head India and South Asia at Mattel. Congratulations Pooja on winning the OLX People HR Excellence Award under the category Best Recruitment Campaign.
Thank you, Abhi. Hi, everyone. It's great to be connected, and thank you again for recognizing our campaign as a best practice and awarding us in this particular category. Very excited, very happy to have got the award. And like I shared previously, it sort of reaffirms to us that we are on the right direction. And my team is very excited to have gotten this award. Very charged up to take up the next leap when it comes to recruitment campaign and taking this forward. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much Pooja for taking out time and talking to us. So in this quick discussion with you, we'll try to find out what different things you introduce in your hiring strategy or what things you did differently that got recognized. And I would also like to understand the thought process of Metal behind the recruitment campaign and what made them the winner. So my first question for you, Pooja, is many companies were cutting down their workforce during this pandemic, and the recruitment rate was also average before the pandemic, if we talk about 2019. So how did you branded Metal that attracted the talent in the market?
Sure. So yes, 2020 was a unique year, like no other, I would say. And to be honest, I would also say that there was a point when we had also put a lot of our positions and everything on hold because we were not sure of how things will pan out for the rest of the year. But at the same time, we saw this as a great opportunity to invest differentially in our recruitment campaign, right? Because we are getting a lot of interest. People more so than ever in 2020 really wanted to know what each company is doing differently. How are people experiencing the company during the pandemic? What sort of support is coming by, right? And we really wanted to continue to engage with the people who are interested in Mattel. So we took stock of things, I think somewhere around March, and we said, okay, through the year, this is how we will pan out our campaign strategy. We will have these many posts, and it will talk about life at Mattel, right? And this is a great opportunity for us to showcase our own employees, our very own brand ambassadors, our brands, and let them talk to the prospective candidates, right? So let's not take a pause on on the entire bit, because interest is always there, right? Pandemic, no pandemic, you will still have people interested in companies, tracking them, trying to see what they are doing, what are they doing differently versus their own organization, some other organization that they have been pursuing, and so on. So that really made us continue to invest, and possibly invest very differentially than what we have done in the past on our recruitment campaign. And we made sure that through that we are engaging with people, and we did see initial success, and we are continuing to see that. So this was also the year that within 3 months of actually very focused investment in this, and when I say investment, it's not really monetary, because this was also a year when we did not have little or no budgets actually to do. So most of the things that you see online on our presentation was done in house by our own employees and by our own designers and so on. So when I say invest differentially, it is time investment, right? We said that there will be people who will apply their minds and strategize and work to make sure that our campaign is running and in real time. So within 3 months of that, I think our 40,000. So we had an increase of about 11,000 followers, which was quite big, because from zero to about 29,000 we reached in a while, and from 29 to 40 we reached quite quickly, and then it's been just growing on a weekly basis as we continue the campaign. We have certain internal metrics that we track with respect to response, with respect to questions that are asked, with respect to each post, what are the impressions, what is the sharing, and so on. And we have only seen positive trends in that. I would also say that LinkedIn has been very intuitive, supportive. The team at LinkedIn that works with us, they have been able to tell us what works well, what doesn't work well, how do we tweak, how do we change, and so on. So that's also been very helpful in sort of tweaking things in a way that it is more suited to the candidate experience externally.
Okay, so you spoke about your talent. Just want to ask you very basic questions. How do you keep your talent pipeline engaged?
Lot of things, Abid. So, I mean, we do connect with them via social media platforms. If you have taken a look at any of our social, so LinkedIn is one of them. All our brands have their pages on Instagram, on Facebook. Some of them have their own YouTube channels and so on. So we make sure that all of this comes together. Again, we do have a benefit of being a toy company, right? Who doesn't really love toys? And and when you talk to them from a brand perspective, whether it is through your social media platforms or through engaging them in a different way and so on, they stay connected with us. Like, for example, through the pandemic, especially the time when most countries were in a total lockdown. I think that was the time our games team came up with an online gaming, and this was for Scrabble, and this was done across a lot of markets. Again, a great way to engage with interested set of people, right? Because you will first have to like Scrabble, you will have to like Mattel to first understand that something like this is going on, and then participate and stay connected. So we do a lot of these things on branding and on campaign, which which helps us stay in touch with prospective candidates and a talent pipeline. Also, what we do is, when we hire for a position, right, of course you have a whole set of people that you meet, and then you shortlist and select at the end. We make sure that even after the position is closed, we stay in touch with the candidates, right? We send them things like our newsletter, which is again something which we can share publicly and so on, so that they stay connected with the company. Because we do believe that if not now, later, if a position opens, we do have a whole pipeline ready from where we can source and select. There have been certain positions in 2020 where we have gone back to the set of people we would have met about 2 years back, and I was myself very impressed to see how interested they were to reapply and be assessed by the company again, for a similar position or something in a similar line where their candidature is very suitable. So yeah, our CV database is really alive. And again, to all the people watching, if you're sending a CV, yes, someone is going through it, making a note, storing it somewhere very useful. And when there is an opportunity, we will definitely reach out by ourselves as well.
Okay. That's a really good practice that your CV is
Yeah.
still alive, so people should still have hopes from um, metal. Okay, so you spoke about talent pipeline, and you spoke about recruitment strategy as well. But I would like to go back to my first question again. Ask you one more thing. What was your core recruitment strategy before the crisis, and what all changes have you have done? Will you continue with the same strategy, or there are new plans in the pipeline?
So, a core recruitment strategy, I would say, is twofold. I think it also takes into account the kind of industry that the toy industry is. It's very similar to fashion and high-end cosmetics and so on, because the trends are ever changing. Also, one of the other things very unique about the toy industry is that while toys are for the children, you also have to talk to the shopper who's actually the parent. And in a lot of cases, it would be a parent who has also played with the same toys, right? So you have to stay relevant. That is one of our strategies. And we are very mindful of the fact that all the people who actually apply to us may have experienced our brand in some way or the other, right, by themselves, or they may have bought it for their children. So when they come and speak to us, or when they get shortlisted and get interviewed, they already have an impression about the company which is made by the brand, right? And it's usually a very positive impression, because our brands are very loved. So our recruitment campaign has been the kind, first of all, saying that we need the right sort of cognitive diversity, people who are slightly different from your mainstream, people who have the sort of experience that will help them succeed in this kind of an industry, right? And the other one is that our recruitment strategy is in line with being very relevant to the fact that you have these huge consumer brands that really talk about, the company and the values and the sort of things that you make. And our campaigns and our, strategy also has to mirror that. You can't be saying something externally and then doing something very different internally, right? So whatever we are doing, it's very transparent, it's very open. Whatever we are doing internally, very transparent about that. And our recruitment strategy also mirrors that. So those are two things, like first, finding the right talent, so making sure that. And when I say cognitive diversity, again, want to be very clear, we want people who think differently. It's got nothing to do with gender, orientation, anything else. And we really are not a company that has any bias against. If you look at any of our forms, we don't even ask those sort of questions. Very, very inclusive when it comes to these things. But we want people who think very differently, who are very passionate about toys, who, who find their connect with this, right? Because if you don't love toys, then I'm telling you, this is not the right place for you. So it has to come from there. And I, till date, have not come across anyone who doesn't love toys. It just brings that out in you when you see the toys, when you see the brands, when you see the relevance. It brings it out in every person.
Diversity in thinking, in your
Yeah.
thought process. That's what. So, how has this crisis changed recruitment? What do you think? Was it how it has become that it has changed drastically, or there's only some minor change that you have witnessed, or
Um,
what are your thoughts?
I think one of the things which changed, which we sort of, it didn't change for us, but again, it was something which we experienced when we were recruiting people through 2020 or through late 2020, early 2021, is that the candidate today is very interested in knowing that what are you as a company doing for wellness? How are you supporting me during a crisis, right? And Abhi, to be honest, these were questions which were never asked before, right? We all know, like, while operating in India, there would be insurance, there would be certain things, but I did realize that candidates now want to know that, okay, what did you do during the pandemic? And if something like this happens again, how will I be supported? Does your insurance also cover parents and family members? Are you planning to extend vaccination and so on? These were not questions that we had heard earlier before. Also, there was a lot of ask on mental well-being. So people did ask that, uh, longer working from home. To be honest, we've been working from home for almost a year now, right? So they wanted to know that how is the company dealing with issues like mental well-being? What are employee assistance programs available? While we have all of this, we have all of this in plenty in Mattel, this was never in the forefront. So this was a change that we very clearly saw now. And this is, I'm glad candidates are bringing it up. I'm glad that it is on the table, that we can discuss that. Yes, as a company, we are very mindful about mental well-being. We have employee assistance options available to support you if you're going through a crisis, right? And the company will always step forward to support you. I'm glad we are able to share these experiences and options with people so that they can take an informed decision for themselves. In terms of things at our end, nothing really changed. And to be honest, even while hiring through the pandemic, even while meeting candidates who unfortunately are out of a job, we were very clear that just because a person is in a certain situation, we will not take advantage of that, right? So I have come across examples where candidates have shared that people have said, okay, you don't have a job, can you come at a lower salary and so on. And that candidate is actually telling us that I'm so happy that whatever you committed through your post or through the consultant was actually what was eventually paid to me. My identity or not having a job was not a factor that brought it down or put me in any sort of a position. So from our end, nothing really changed. I think these are non-issues. If somebody is capable, why, whether he or she doesn't have a job, it's unfortunate, it's situational. If we find a person good and meets our criteria, we will make the right offer, and that is the commitment that Mattel has. So nothing really changed for us during the pandemic, except that maybe we went slow on hiring for a few positions, because honestly, we did not know what the future holds for us, right? And now that things are opening up, there is a lot of renewed optimism, and we are absolutely back on track with where things are.
That also answered my last question as well, because I wanted to ask you, uh, what are the lessons that you learned in last 1 year in the recruitment space, especially? If you have anything, because you shared one of the example about mental well-being that these candidates are asking. So, if I can ask you again, what are the lessons that you have learned in the recruitment space in the last 1 year? And would you like to share with some example apart from this? You have anything different to share? That will be great.
No, I think on a personal front, there were many learnings, and I did share some of them, right? And some of them are also the sort of values that the company expects you to demonstrate and live up to. So those were the things. I also think that, when you offer a candidate or when you want to select a candidate, it is important to share holistically overall how you are a company, right? Because sometimes I have noticed that it becomes very transactional. It becomes about the job description and the interview and the package, right? But your package is so much more than what is there on the letter. There are so many other things, and these things have become more relevant than they ever were, right? Like, are you offering flexibility? Are you offering, facilities like daycare and so on? What do I do? Am I expected to come to office because I have small children and we are still not out of the pandemic, right? And what sort of employee assistance is available and so on. So your package is so much more, and often we don't realize how much we are doing for our employees, right? And it's important that you somehow bring that together and tell them that we are more than what that letter says. There is so much more that you get when you sign up and join a company like Mattel. So that's been a personal learning. Some of these things can be quantified, some of these things are absolutely, they cannot be quantified, right? They are experiences which only people, your own brand ambassadors, employees can share. And that is what we are trying to bring to life through our recruitment campaigns as well.
Okay, thank you, Pooja. Thank you so much. I think we
Thank
have
you.
covered almost everything, not only sharing about the recruitment part, but also about the wellness and what were your thought process. Congratulations once again.